Detective Pikachu is finally here, and it's well on its way to being the most financially successful and critically acclaimed video game movie to date. Fans are turning out in droves to see the monsters that define their childhood expertly brought to life. Not all of the Pokemon in the film are cute though. There are a lot of weird and creepy Pokemon, and this video will list the 10 creepiest Pokemon to appear in Detective Pikachu. Psyduck. Lucy's partner Pokemon Psyduck is both adorable and terrifying. Almost nothing in the movie is cuter than watching the duck Pokemon waddle around in an effort to help Lucy, or freak out during the many harrowing sequences in the film. Then you remember that Psyduck is a literal ticking time bomb. This adorable Pokemon suffers from chronic headaches and can release powerful blasts of psychic energy if they worsen enough. Psyduck has no control over its psychic abilities, which are strong enough to defeat Pokemon it would have no chance against otherwise. That is, if it doesn't also hurt its friends and trainer in the process. These features make Psyduck an incredibly high-maintenance Pokemon that requires loads of care and attention to keep it from exploding. The anime and games make it clear that the Pokemon's obliviousness and latent psychic abilities make it a hassle to take care of. Basically, Psyduck is the last Pokemon you'd want to run into after a long day that makes you just want to veg out. Psyduck may not be overtly creepy, but the concept is still terrifying. At the very least, the potential to destroy anything around it at a moment's notice makes Psyduck a pretty unsettling Pokemon. Cubone. Detective Pikachu opened with the scene focusing on the adorable ground-type Pokemon, Cubone. Designed as the lonely Pokemon, it's not unusual to see Cubone crying, sulking, or just being sad. A lot of people's first instinct when seeing this Pokemon would be to wrap it up in a blanket, give it a cup of hot chocolate, and tell Cubone that everything is going to be okay. Then you remember that it's wearing the skull of its deceased mother on its head. Helping the Pokemon cope with the passing of its mother is a central plot point in the original games. Cubone forces the player to explore the creepy Pokemon Tower graveyard and calm the soul of its late mother. Ignoring the fact that in the games and anime, Cubones are always seen wearing their skull mask, regardless of the well-being of their mother, this is still pretty creepy, especially considering that its mother's skull apparently fuses to its head when evolving into the Marowak. On the surface level, Cubone is still a pretty cute Pokemon that deserves a bunch of love and affection. Digging beyond that though, reveals a good deal of creepy baggage that might be off-putting to most would-be Pokemon trainers. This little guy would still make for a great partner Pokemon though. Greninja. At a glance, Greninja is a pretty cool Pokemon. Premiering in the 6th generation of games, this ninja frog was a popular starter Pokemon and was even featured pretty heavily in the long-running Pokemon anime. However, the live-action interpretation of the monster in Detective Pikachu highlights the more unsettling elements of its design. Greninja's cool ninja scarf is actually its outstretched tongue wrapped several times around its neck. This is kinda cool, but this also means that a slimy, dripping muscle is wrapped around Greninja's body all the time. Detective Pikachu actually pushes Greninja's tongue scarf even further by having the monster use it to restrain Lucy and her Psyduck. The ninja Pokemon using its massive saliva-covered tongue in this way raises a lot of concerning questions. Can Greninja taste the people it binds with its tongue? Is its saliva slippery or sticky? Does its perpetually outstretched tongue mean that it can't ever chew food? Although Greninja is definitely one of the cooler Pokemon, these unanswered questions make it pretty creepy as well. Although, if these questions are ever answered, it'll probably just make the dual water dark type even more unsettling. Gengar. One of the original ghost types, Gengar is totally punk rock. The phantom Pokemon is best described as a living shadow, with some even theorizing that came into being when a Clefable shadow was somehow granted life. A bit of a trickster, Gengar loves to hide in people's shadows in the night and surprise them for its own amusement, or steal their life force, which is mentioned in several of its Pokédex entries. Gengar's creepiness varies dramatically between different depictions of the Pokemon. In his first appearance in the anime, it was a fun little goofball. In Detective Pikachu, a Gengar appears in an underground battle arena and shows off exactly how frightening it can be. Flying around and popping in and out of sight, it seems to easily defeat a Blastoise without ever breaking its Cheshire grin. It seems like running into a Gengar is a bit of a gamble. On the one hand, it could be a fun little trickster who will take you on ghost adventures, or a 5-foot-tall specter who will eat your soul. Running into this creepy Pokemon late at night probably isn't worth the risk. Ludicolo. In Detective Pikachu, the carefree Pokemon Ludicolo works as a barista in the Hi-Hat Cafe. Ludicolo doesn't do much more than say its own name before bringing Pikachu his cup of coffee. However, many viewers found dual grass water type pretty unsettling. Most of this can be attributed to Ludicolo's rather busy design. Ludicolo has a face similar to a duck or platypus, a type that alludes to the myth of the Japanese kappa creature and what appears to be a sombrero or poncho. You can't really neatly define what Ludicolo is, and that throws a lot of people off, which is kind of a shame, since Ludicolo is great at parties and social events. Hearing festival music actually makes this Pokemon stronger and causes it to dance uncontrollably. That's right, the more Ludicolo parties, the more powerful it becomes. Ludicolo is a weird Pokemon with a lot going on. Maybe if it had a slightly simpler design, it'd be more popular, but as it stands, the carefree Pokemon is just kinda creepy. Aipom. Aipom, the long-tailed Pokemon, introduced in the Gold and Silver video games, has always been odd and kind of unsettling. Based on a primate, Aipom has a perpetual grin and circular, beady eyes. Furthermore, the monster has a fully functional hand at the end of its lengthy tail. On paper, Aipom seems like it could be a real-life animal, but it's just uncanny enough to be a work of fiction. Detective Pikachu furthers this uncanniness in Aipom's design. The film depicts several Aipoms as acting pretty similar to small playful monkeys, until they inhale the experimental R drug, which transforms them into vicious little monsters. Seeing these almost believable creatures turn into destructive monsters was genuinely unsettling and scary. Detective Pikachu making the usually carefree Pokemon angry and violent pushed the purple monkey even further into the creepy Pokemon category. Lickitung. So Greninja wasn't higher on this list because its creepy tongue scar fit into its theme of being a frog ninja. Lickitung doesn't have that excuse. It is instead just a creepy pink tongue monster. Aptly called the Lickitung Pokemon, Lickitung is nearly 4 feet tall and has an almost 7-foot long tongue. Its tongue is incredibly flexible and will lick almost anything new it comes across, as it remembers objects by their texture and flavor. Oh, its saliva is also sticky and will leave a rash if it makes contact with skin for too long. Everything about Lickitung is just nightmare fuel. Its black hollow eyes are unsettling. Its pink coloring also makes it look unlike most things in nature and gives it an entirely alien appearance. Supposedly, Lickitung is based on lizards, but that just seems like an insult to the real-world animals. Loudred. The big voice Pokemon Loudred looks like something that shouldn't be alive. This 3-foot-tall goblin is 90% mouth. Its massive, perpetually open mouth takes up the entirety of its torso and is framed by stubby arms, legs, and ears shaped like speakers. Looking at Loudred, you have to ask yourself, where are its organs? How does its body have room for a heart, a brain, or lungs? It's supposed to be based on a boombox, but its purple coloring and normal typing makes it seem more like a mammal than anything mechanical. Unfortunately, Loudred is another example of why inanimate objects make for some of the worst and unsettling Pokemon designs. Ditto. Ditto is a really fun and useful Pokemon in the games and anime, but absolutely terrifying in the Detective Pikachu movie. Known as the Transformation Pokemon, Ditto can change into any person, thing, or Pokemon. While Ditto can usually mimic something perfectly, the first Ditto to appear in the anime and the Ditto in the movie retain their face and eyes respectfully. Ditto is a useful Pokemon in the games because it's able to breed with nearly any other species of Pokemon. In the movie though, Ditto is a shape-shifting monster, transforming into various people and characteristics to throw off Justice Smith's Tim and Ryan Reynolds' Pikachu. Of course, its natural appearance being so deceptively non-threatening only makes Ditto even creepier. Mr. Mime. Of course, Mr. Mime was going to be the creepiest Pokemon in Detective Pikachu. Ever since the first trailer for the film dropped, people have been haunted by the Pokemon's weirdly humanoid appearance. Originally only available through trading with an NPC in the first Pokemon games, the barrier Pokemon has always been weird. Standing a little over 4 feet tall, it looks more like an oddly shaped human than a wild animal. It's known to be rather violent, as Mr. Mime will attack anyone who doesn't appear to be impressed with its pantomiming routine. Pikachu and Tim interrogating Mr. Mime was a terrific scene, and one of the funniest sequences in the entire movie. However, even that wasn't enough to distract viewers from the perplexing strangeness of Mr. Mime. Unlike previous entries on this list, Mr. Mime is a believable living organism that could exist. However, that only makes it creepier, as you realize the sheer amount of body horror that's part of its design. Unfortunately, the Detective Pikachu movie gave us an unsettling look into what it might look like if the horror that is Mr. Mime invaded our reality. Please let us know what you think of this ranking, or if we missed any creepy Pokemon, in the comment section down below. While you're there, be sure to like this video and subscribe to The Binger. Doing that and clicking on the bell icon really helps the channel and lets us bring even more incredible videos like this to you. Thanks for watching.